Welcome to Astro Science Academy, and in this video today I'll be showing you guys on how to answer questions based on trig. Right, so now as you can see this question 3 over here, which says if tan theta is equal to 5 over 12 at 90 degrees is less than or equal to theta less than or equal to 360 degrees, with an aid of a sketch and without using a calculator, calculate the value of sine theta plus cos theta. Right, so now as you can see we were given tan theta is equal to 5 all over 12. So they gave us this ratio, right? So whenever we see tan theta, we know it's equal to 5 over 12. Now, as you can see, tan here is positive, right? You can see tan is positive. So now you're going to draw a small little quadrant over here on the side, right? So now we know tan is positive on the first quadrant and the third quadrant, right? Because now we're going to have cast like this, right? So we know cast stands for all students take chemistry, right? So this is a S over here, right? So now that's our first restriction. Now let's go to our second restriction. So we know our second restriction, which says 90 degrees is less than or equal to theta less than or equal to 360 degrees. So we know over here is 0, this part here is 90, this is 180, this is 270, sorry, and then this is what? 360. Right. So now the restriction tells us that this angle theta is between 90 all the way to 360. So it could be between the second quadrant, the third quadrant, or the fourth quadrant. Now you look, which quadrant has more ticks? As you can see, it's the third quadrant. Are you seeing that, right? Because it got the most ticks. So if it got the most ticks, that's where you draw your what? Your triangle, right? So your triangle now will fall on the third quadrant. So now you're going to sketch your triangle over here. You're going to have that, right? And then you're going to have that, right? You're going to have this with your y-axis. So you know that's x, and then you're going to have your triangle now, right? So you're going to have something like this, right? So now 90 degrees over here. So now you're going to have SOHCAHTOA over here, right? So now we know SOHCAHTOA like that, right? So we know for tan, we know this is what? Same as saying opposite over adjacent. So now opposite, this side will be 5, adjacent will be 12, and we're looking for R. So don't forget that, as you can see, this x is on the negative side. That means this should be negative 12, and y is on the negative side, so this should be negative 5. So let's not forget that, right? So now the first thing that we're going to need over here is our r. We need to know the hypotenuse, right? So now we're going to say r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. So now r squared is what we're looking for. So now x is negative 12 bracket squared plus y negative 5 bracket squared. This is squared. So now r will be equal to square root, right, of negative 12 bracket squared plus negative 5 bracket squared. So now r will be equal to, so now you can take a calculator. Now you're going to have square root, open bracket, negative 12 close bracket squared plus open bracket negative 5 close bracket squared, and now final answer is just 13. So our r over here is 13, right? So now we can come to the question now. So now they say calculate the value of sine theta plus cos theta. So now we want to know the value. So sine theta plus cos theta. So now what would that value be? So sine theta, because now we know this angle here as our reference, this is theta. So now over here this is going to be what? Opposite over hypotenuse. Are you saying that, right? Opposite is this side and the hypotenuse is over here, right? So it's opposite over hypotenuse. So it's going to be negative 5 all over 13 plus cos theta. So cos theta, we know this is going to be, you can use a different color. We know it's adjacent, right? Adjacent is over there all over what? Hypotenuse. So now we're going to have that to be negative 12 all over 13. So now, as you can see, we've got the same denominator. So we're going to just say 13, negative 5, plus negative 12. So then this is going to give us negative 17 all over 13 as our final answer, right? So now that is our answer. Now let's have a look at 3.2. So now 3.2 says if cos 62 is equal to k, right? So cos 62 is equal to k. Determine without using a calculator the value of the following terms in terms of k, right? So now we need to find this in terms of k. So how do we find this in terms of k? The first thing that you're going to do, you will need a diagram to answer this question, right? You will need a what? A diagram. So as you can see first, this angle here, 62. The angle 62 is between 0 and 90, as you can see, right? So that means it falls on the first quadrant. That tells you that your triangle over here should be on the first quadrant, right? That's very, very important to understand, right? So now you're gonna have it over here like this. You're gonna have it now. You're gonna get your hypotenuse over there. Then you're gonna have, okay, let's erase that. Right. So now you're gonna have something like this, right? So now 90 degrees on the first quadrant, right? So now this angle here is 62. Now let's find the other angle. So now you're gonna say 90 minus 62. That's gonna give us 28. So over here it's just going to be what? 28. So now cos, this we know is all over 1. Cos, it's adjacent all over hypotenuse. So adjacent is going to be here, hypotenuse is over there. Now we're looking for y. So now you can use the theorem of Pythagoras, right? So r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. So r is 1, squared is equal to x. X is k squared plus y squared, right? So now this is going to be 1. Transpose k squared this side to be 1 minus k squared is equal to y squared. So now square root that. Y will be equal to square root 1 minus k squared as our final answer. This is now going to be our final answer, right? So now y is equal to square root 1 minus k squared. Now you can start. So now 3.2.1. Now they want sine 28. So now sine 28, we know sine 28 is over here. So this is gonna be opposite of all over what? Hypotenuse. Are we saying that right? So now opposite over hypotenuse, this is gonna be k all over 1. So which is just simply k. So now 3, 2, 2. They want tan 3, 3, 2. So first thing, as you can see, this angle 332, it's less than 270. It's greater than 270 and less than 360. So that falls in the fourth quadrant. As you can see, it falls here on the fourth quadrant, right? So now we can say tan. We can reduce that. So first thing you have to do is reduce that. So you're gonna say 360 minus what will give you 332. So now you can actually just say 360 minus 332. That's going to give us 28. Seeing that, right? It's going to give us what? 28. So now, because I didn't change the meaning here, 360 minus 28 gives me back to 332. I did not change the meaning. So now tan, now we can reduce that. So now tan is going to be tan 28 negative, because tan on the fourth quadrant is negative, right? So I hope we're paying attention, right? So now this over here will become negative. So tan 28, we know tan 28, it's adjacent, it's opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be negative k all over square root 1 minus k squared. And that is how we should have got this answer, right? Easy as that. So guys, you can see it's very, very important to show all your working out and no shortcuts, right? So it's clear as this, and it's very, very simple. trig is one of the best topics out there. So thank you guys for attending, and this is how we answer our trig questions, and I'll catch you guys next time. Take care.